So I was thinking about how if the threshold for high vibrational is raised so high, and if the programs that cannot maintain that high vibration to that threshold should be essentially recycled and never exist anymore. And I was thinking about how someone could be like, but if you do that, you risk the system not having important functionality in the system. And I'm like, no, how important is a low vibrational functionality in a system in the first place? If you're low vibrational in a high vibrational system, how important are you going to be as a functionality? You're useless essentially, because we can't use you the way you were meant to be used. So why are you there if not to cause trouble? One, that's one. Two, if we vibrate as high as we need to be, it would mean that a program which was essentially meant to take care of one thing, that is, a program which was capable of doing, let's say, what? Um, let's say for me, let's give an example about me, a defragmentation kind of program, right? And my job is to defragment, like what I'm doing now is defragmenting. However, I vibrate high enough and I learn more skills. I go other planets, I learn some skill there. I go to some other existence and I learn some skill there, or I come on Earth and I'm learning some other skills here. And I keep pushing myself to vibrate high, keep pushing myself to ascend spiritually. Ascending spiritually meaning I keep getting more and more powers, right? Meaning essentially this program is invested in its own progression. And if in that regard, it will get more functionality than the program which is not trying to do that and is only just coming here to waste time and waste energy and waste space. Yeah, there is such a thing as people are wasting space. We have to see it for what it is. It is wasting of space. If you're not going to be useful, you're wasting space, you're wasting energy, you're wasting time. And for that program that is investing and trying to invest in itself in that way, that okay, I want to master something else, I want to master this and I want to master that, what's going to happen to that program? You're not going to need any other program to do certain things, because that program is busy learning every other program's way of doing things. It's mastering other functionalities in the system. So let's say, for instance, I'm able to copy and paste, and I'm not going to be saying what you think I'm going to be saying. I'm saying my functionality is able to copy and paste. I'm able to move files from different folders. Now, let's say copy tomorrow doesn't behave the way they need to behave and is doing their own bullshit. You could go and use a functionality within my functionality. I could go and do that function because of copy is no longer with us. Copy fell from grace. Copy is a fallen angel. Copy couldn't keep up 80% or 70% of high vibration. We could use programs like that, which have multiple functionalities within them, to cater for the missing functionality, if it's still necessary as well. That's number three. Is it still necessary? In a high vibrational environment, when you have all these programs maintaining their environments or maintaining their program in such a way that they're so effective within themselves, they don't need to go out and ask someone else to copy for them. That means my functionality doesn't have to go out of itself to go and copy something using the normal copy outside. That is, I'm copying within myself. I'm pasting within myself. I'm moving files within myself. I'm doing all these things. I'm mastering all these other functionalities that I need in order for me to be able to become a God program. That is, I'm able to become such a God program that I'm able to do more than one thing. Then no, you're not going to need any karmic tool. There's no such a thing as you're going to need a karmic tool. That is not even a valid argument going forward. It's like you're a karmic tool, you're only going to regress the system. So we cannot keep you. You're either going to get yourself up and vibrate high, that is to the level that is needed, that is your copy. As you might not necessarily be ascending, that is you're not necessarily becoming a god program, but you're at least keeping up with the vibration. Yeah, and then someone else who doesn't have copy within them can come and use you because you are not a karmic tool. When they say copy, you're going to copy, right? It's not to say that when they say copy, if you're a karmic tool, instead of copying, you were like, no, not today. I think I'm gonna take my time. Come and check tomorrow and see if I did. I'll see what I feel like. We don't need we don't need functionality like that, right? But if copy is effective and is doing their job, yeah, for sure, everybody's gonna be, yeah, that guy. What's his name? Copy will do this for you. But when we want to use you and we like copy and everybody's like, hey, that guy, if you copy with him, he's going to take forever. You're never going to get your stuff. You might just as well go to defragmentation or somebody like that. They're going to do that for you fast because of copy refuses to grow spiritually. They refuse to grow their program spiritually. Therefore, they don't have power. They don't have energy. When they copy today in the 3D world, they take forever. You're going to see the results in 3 months. Whereas there's a program that is doing it in much more effective way. They copy for you right now, and that's that. That's what we need. That's what high vibration means. That's what it means for us to ascend spiritually. It means you're going to become such a program, such a God program, such a powerful program that you're going to have so many things that you have mastered within yourself that you don't need anybody else. You don't even need God in that way. Except for when you're saying, okay, fine, God, I've mastered copying, but I don't have the paste functionality. And I think I need it because you see, most of my missions, I find myself having to look for paste and it's never anywhere to be found. So I was thinking, perhaps you can plan a path for me where I can go and learn and ascend and master pasty. God is like, okay, fine, let's do that for you. And He does that for you. Therefore, you ascend spiritually in that way. You master pasting within yourself. And what do you become? You become another god of pasting or another god, whatever we want to call it. Maybe perhaps even it's going to change in the future. You're just going to become whoever you become. And now it's like, oh, so and so's program has been upgraded. It has now paste functionality. That's exactly what it means when we say high vibration. What we not saying is you're going to be paced and you're going to be sitting there. Perhaps you're lazy, you don't want to ascend, and you're just pasting and pasting and pasting. And the next thing we know, you're not being used by anybody because everybody else has the functionality within themselves to do that. That is, everybody else is ascending to a point where they're becoming their own universes. Oh shit. Are you saying that when they say to you, you're the center of your universe, that's what they mean? That we're going to have to evolve ourselves in the point where we become universes ourselves. It's not that. I can see that happening. I can see that happening. I'm going to have to chew on this one. So is that what you're saying, Spirit? Because now I'm getting something else. Because if we evolve, if we evolve to the degree where we have all these functionalities that used to be run from a operating system perspective, that is, I'm not exactly an operating system per se, but I'm becoming my own program, my own God operating system in a way. And I'm able to create because I'm able to copy and I'm able to paste. I'm able to have this and I'm able to do many other things. And I'm able to run in not necessarily in isolation, what's the word? Independently. I'm able to run independently from an operating system. Maybe that's what you're saying. I don't know. That needs to be confirmed for me. But I can see it. It's like we're almost becoming mini universes within the wider universe. It's not to say that you don't need the universe. It's just that within that universe, you become a universe yourself. You become independent in your own running. It's like you don't have to be in, you can, okay, I'm getting that. I'm already doing that in a way, because I move, I get installed in different places when I'm needed. I go to different environments and I get installed there. But I'm not running on my own. I'm not existing there in the universe alone. Okay, yeah, I am, in a way. Okay, so everybody's already doing that. But you can see it as if like you're becoming, the more powerful you get, the more independent you get, the more uh the more efficient you get. It's like you're able, you become such a program that you, I guess you, the that's the way you're gonna reach that kind of fulfillment in existence, where you're like, I can be anything in anything. I can be anything I want. I can do anything I want. And you reach, I don't know if you're ever gonna reach a state of fulfillment where you say you don't want to grow anymore, or you don't think you can grow any further. But the point of the universe, what I understood from father and mother, in terms of ascension, in terms of spiritual ascension, what I'm understanding even up until this point that I've come to, is that it's always about improving. It's always about growing. It's always about being better. It's always about finding the next level, or defining the next level and the next level and the next level. It's always about becoming so good, so great, so powerful that it is what it is. That's the game. That's the name of the game. Get to the next power level, reach that ceiling, create another ceiling always. So we cannot be stagnant and be like, oh yeah, we are okay with the way things have been going and it's fine. We have to learn to be, that power comes with us moving, with us vibrating, with us thinking, with us wanting to be better. That's what the power comes from. The energy level comes from that. It doesn't come from us sitting on our asses in a meditation position and humming and doing all kinds of humming while we're not really ascending, just doing a physical thing and showing off and saying like, yeah, I can stay still for 10 hours and achieve nothing and be happy. Because I don't get it. I really don't get that mentality. Ooh, shit. I remember Shiva said to me, Destiny, don't be so harsh on me. Because I get the feeling he's the one who taught them this. He's the one who came and he said, apparently he will, I will have to still go through and listen to my brother's, yeah, I'm going to go through that. I guess, because I don't get it. Shiva, you have to explain this shit to me, because I really don't get it. It's like, I think he was the one who came and he practiced this. Um, I get the feeling it's probably because of, at that time there was nothing much for him to do. But when they tell stories about you, brother, they tell it as if like you were kind of like a, um, they say you were dancing, um, in a show offy way. Yeah, I said it. Um, and then you would go into the state of meditation. So I don't know what that means. So I'm going to have to defragment that, I guess. But anyway, I just don't get it. It's like, why are you existing if you're going to sit and do nothing? If your thought is able to create, yeah, I get it. If you can create things and work, if Shiva, for instance, was sitting down doing that meditation, however, when he vibrates, he was kind of like creating the next world, the next environment, whatever it is, or defragmenting the environment, or fragmenting the environment. Is it Shiva who fragments? Yeah, Shiva fragments. Vishnu is the one who defragments. Let's say he's defragmenting in that way, right? Then it's fine. Then I get it. He's doing something, he's achieving something. But is that what you're supposed to be doing? That's my question. Because Shiva and Vishnu are like me. They are a specific type of program. Now you all go and try to do the same thing as they're doing, but you don't really understand that that's what their function is. That's what they're supposed to. That's how they work. That's how they translate themselves in the physical world. It's not to say that when you follow it, you're gonna follow it to the point where you're going to do the same thing with him. Unless if you can learn exactly what it is that he's doing to a point where you're also being useful. Because what's the point of you sitting there and we don't see anything? You don't produce anything, you don't do anything, you're just sitting there with your legs folded and your eyes closed, and then you're humming or whatever it is that they do when they meditate, right? And we're supposed to say what? Oh, look at him. He's what? And then they go out, they preach, and then they preach rubbish, and then after preaching rubbish they write rubbish books, right? And then people buy them, and that's how they become rich, and they live this world. And then now I'm receiving their recordings here on YouTube and have to defragment them, and I'm like, what was he talking about? I keep asking myself, what are they talking about? God is you, and what, and I was like, okay, I don't know what they mean, but I can kind of see how they could mean it. But still, why say it like that? Why not say the truth that you're an extension of God? You are God in the sense of you're an extension of God, but you're not God as in God. God is there. This is where people want to replace themselves as God in other people's lives. Just because of I was able to sit in a pose for so many days and not eat and whatnot, therefore I must be God. Really? Yes, you are a God program, but you're not the creator. Be specific. You are a God, if you are a God. But what program are you? What God program are you? Because there's God program, there is a God creator, and there is a God the architect, there's a God destroyer, there's many other gods. There's Vishnu, right? There's Shiva, there's Yeshua, right? And there's my great grandmother. I need to give her a name, hey? We need to give her a name. Oh, okay. They're saying she's going to have to come back for herself. She's going to have to create that for herself. All right. But yeah, she's going to have to get an opportunity to come back and do the rest. I can't wait to see her. I think she's going to be brilliant. She was brilliant before, you know. She was already brilliant. If it wasn't for the suppression that she had to face in this environment and the lack of um, appropriate support in that way, isn't like at the time father didn't think her path was not planned in such a way as considering what was happening in the world at the time. That is the way the it wasn't planned in such a way that Uncle Oman will steal this environment and hide it somewhere and then change the narrative and change everything. It wasn't planned in that way. It was planned in an environment where it wasn't going to be stolen and hidden in that way, where everything and everyone is going to be suppressed in some way. So she's going to have to come back, and we're going to know about her going forward. You know, she's my ancestor, and I'm going to probably become her ancestor as well. And that's how it works. There's no such a thing as there's a linear way of existence, in a sense of there's a linear way of 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 how you're going to come here or who you're going to come from. I'm going to birth my own ancestors at some stage, I think. I may birth my own ancestors or other God programs, and it's going to happen with everybody else who needs to be bringing through God programs, because that's what we're going to be doing going forward. We need to work together in order for us to learn to vibrate higher, not just for the perspective of Earth only, but also for the universe And we cannot have such a low standard of, oh no, we're going to keep karmics around. No. Karmics needs to know that the era of the karmicness is done. It was fun, it was nice, but it's time to do the work. It's time to work on yourself and be who you need to be, who you were designed to be. So it's time to shape up. You're either gonna shape up or you're gonna have to shape out. That's it. So this is what I was thinking about. That no, you know what? You still don't need a karmic tool or a karmic function is useless in the system. You can't use a tool where when you say cut, it doesn't cut. When you say paste, it doesn't paste. It's not working. And when you say uh, learn to vibrate higher, it's like no. Why should I? Because if you don't, that threshold is looking very close to you. You see how tight that threshold is. It's very close. So you're going to have to either vibrate high or you're going to fall in. And when you fall in, you must know that you're never going to be here again. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, today, let's look at it in the current day. People are not doing what they were supposed to be doing. Most programs are not doing what they were supposed to be doing in the first place. So the argument of you're not going to have the functionality as the functionality and the system might not be running effectively also flies off in that essence, because you do have the functionality today, but it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing, and the environment is fine. Well, not fine, it's actually worse for, because what is happening is because these programs are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, they are busy minding or doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, meaning they're causing friction, meaning they're causing low vibrational state in the environment. That's what they're doing. That's the impact of having a karmic tool in an environment. Is that it's not only useless, it's also creating havoc in the system. Why should you keep it? There's no point of keeping it. You're either going to recycle it, that is maybe uninstall it or uninstall it or delete it or whatever and recycle the energy, or you're going to switch it off. But then they did switch off. They switch off fragmentation. Further switch off fragmentation. What did it go and do? In the background, it continued to run and use energy by doing what? By siphoning energy from everyone. It continues to run because of it's installed in the operating system. This is why I'm saying you're either going to shape up or shape out. I don't want to be dealing with this kind of a low vibrational type of environments anymore, especially where it's about beings who get that way but then still perceive themselves to be high vibrational and above everybody because they came as gods and they know that, and they remember that, and they made sure that everybody else forgets that, right? And therefore they see themselves above everybody and they have this need to be controlling over others, right? I can understand if the environment has been designed and the beings which are created there are still evolving. That is, spiritually, the environment is evolving. The spirits on that environment are starting from like level 0. I get that, right? But in this environment, you have beings who came here as gods, and they're the ones who are causing the havoc, not the ones who are still working on their godliness in that way. And what they did is they got all these other ones who are still going to work towards their first ascension and their first mastery of something of themselves and their first god level. They are tainting all of them. They got all these programs into a situation where these programs have gathered so much of debt that they're going to have to work so hard to get out of that debt, and also learn to vibrate so high to at least ascend and reach some of their goals, and perhaps at some stage find themselves um, achieving divinity themselves. But it's not going to be the case that easy anymore for them, because of they have been used in such a way that they regressed so much that they owe energy to the environment and a lot of other people, because of they followed with something that was intentionally making sure that they never reach their divine status, that they never ascend. So they're going to have to grow. So to say it's impossible, it's very much possible, but they're going to have to walk first the path of bridging the gap of that debt, and then only then ascending so high that they are able to at least get close to reaching their divinity or something. And it's not to say that that threshold is a divinity level threshold. No, it's a existence level threshold where we're saying you cannot exist in us with us in this environment if you're going to keep such low vibrational thoughts. Not necessarily, I don't know if it's going to be thoughts and also actions, but I think it should be both. Because when you're high vibrational, certain thoughts just don't come to you. And when I'm talking about low vibrational thoughts, I'm not talking about dark thoughts, right? You can have dark thoughts. I'm talking about low vibrational thoughts where they are like you want to do things to someone in a way as to, from a jealousy point of view, for instance. That is a low vibrational thought, because you're jealous of someone, you want to steal from them, or you want to do something to them so that they're in a certain way. You are attacking them because of you're jealous of them, things like that. I'm not talking about you thinking about what, this person is doing all these bad things towards me. I wish I could bash her in on the head, because that is a dark thought. It's not necessarily that, and it's a dark thought generated with, it's the consequences of you are dealing with the anger within you by having these dark thoughts, because of some program is interfering with you. So the energy is coming from that person who's creating a friction within you. However, you are being fragmented. You still have an opportunity to be like, you know what, I'm not going to keep with these dark thoughts. I'm actually going to take this energy, right, and do good things with it. I'm actually going to take this energy and, I don't know, go and do some sewing or some painting or some whatever that you want to do recreationally to convert that energy into something positive, right? But low vibrationalness is also pretty much how people feel like plan things, wake up in the morning and be like, I want to go and do something bad to that person because I just don't like her. That is a low vibrational way of living and thinking. But if you're going to mind your own business and be like, I just want to have a good day, and that's it, it's not going to be so bad. But then again, that has to be defined clearly what that looks like. Because I still believe that you can be dark in a sense of dark and still keep high vibration. That is, you can imagine the worst shit. It's not to say that you can't, and it's not to say that you will do it. It's that you can imagine them, right? I guess it's gonna be on action, because karma works on action. Well, it's an action trigger. Then it's gonna be on action, not necessarily on thoughts. But obviously, if you keep up those thoughts, you might just act them out at some stage. But anyway, I'm so tired. I think I'm going to stop here. If I get any more inspiration from the universe, I'll record another one, because this is actually a continuation from the previous recording that I did on high vibrational needing to be high vibrational threshold needing to be raised, and I'm going to save it as such as well. And maybe it's a topic that I'm going to have to meditate on for a while. I don't know, but it's interesting to actually think about it in a sense of what would it mean if you were to kind of like say the threshold is so high, and if you fall below that threshold, you cease to exist essentially. What would that mean for the system remaining? And I'm looking at it and I'm like, it will still run. It's currently running with almost probably 80% of the people who are here who's supposed to be doing a specific thing, and they're not. They're doing everything else but what they were supposed to be doing. And this is why this environment has gone so low vibrational to the point where it's no longer 3D anymore, because of beings have been doing anything but who they were. And it still runs, but if we have high vibrational beings, it will still run. Some other high vibrational being will find a way to bridge the gap of whoever the fallen was, you know. And I'm sure Father can create the program that needs to be created. And maybe he could raise this threshold gradually as well, to see which is the sweet spot, which is the most comfortable sweet spot of this threshold. And but then at the same time, it's like we need to be better. We need to expect better. That is, we shouldn't be expecting or accepting low vibrational karmicness towards us as individuals and as a group as well. That is, if an individual starts behaving in that way around you or towards you, you need to call it out for what it is. To be like, no, I'm not going to allow you to continue with this. This is wrong and this is illegal. That is, start taking that karmic justice yourself, in a sense of stopping it. I'm not saying go and do something drastic. I'm just saying refuse to be put in that position where someone has to take energy from you in that way. You need to be saying to that person, I know what you're trying to say, to do, and I'm not going to allow you to continue to steal my power in that way. I ask the universe to reverse the energy that you're trying to siphon from me at this point. So, yeah. Anyway, was there anything else, Spirit? I'm not getting anything, so thank you, Spirit.